location. And again, we're going to go really tight in here, right around, and we're kind of boxed in and around Hilltop, towards Doug Hill, Roseburg, up towards Lyons Mill, Broadford, and then back up to Hilltop. It's this area that we're going to be watching pretty closely over the next few minutes for this area of rotation that's pushing on off towards the north and east. And right along where you see that squiggly black line here, that is the Grayson and Hart County line. And so that is exactly where that main area of rotation is going to be moving over the next several minutes as we continue to track this severe thunderstorm that is currently warned for a tornado, a radar indicated tornado. So we'll continue to monitor that. We're also looking from the Storm Prediction Center that is getting ready to issue a tornado watch across parts of our region as well. So that'll be coming out shortly, I believe, for a good chunk of southern Kentucky. So what we're looking at right now, and I'm going to turn back on the radar, we're going to take a wide view here. I'll put back on the alerts, and then we'll put this all into motion. And I want you to notice just in the last couple of scans, did you see how we had some of those pink shades in those counties light up? That is the new tornado watch that is currently in effect now for Hardin County, Grayson, LaRue, also Hart County, and then Marion, Greene, and Taylor counties. That's going to go until midday today. So over the next several hours, we'll have the opportunity for strong to severe storms. I think as we progress through the morning, that is going to push on off towards the south and east. So if we are mainly talking along and south of the western Kentucky and bluegrass parkways, that'll see the highest potential for strong to severe thunderstorms. And right now, that highest potential is centered right around the Grayson and Hart County line. The Louisville metro and immediate surrounding area, even into northern Hardin County. Remember, Hardin County is one that on the map can cover some area from north to south. But if you're watching us in Fort Knox, Radcliffe, all the way down close to Elizabethtown, anywhere in northern Hardin County, I think you're mainly clear of any severe weather threat. But from E-Town southward, we're continuing to watch these thunderstorms that have the potential to produce especially a brief spin-up tornado or a brief high wind gust. What I'm going to do is I'm going to take away the watches and warnings, and we're going to put back on, we're going to put this into motion, and I want to focus in on southeastern portions of Grayson County. It's right where this particular storm bows out just a little bit. See how in the radar reflectivity, we get a little bit of a backward C. And when we see that in this type of storm environment, that's where we can push down some higher wind gusts and also get some rotation. And that is what we have right now. Just to the north, it looks like, of the Wax area is where some of that strongest rotation currently is, near the town of Spike, Broadford, between Black Rock and Wax, over towards Lyons Mill, and then off to the north and east. So that's where we'll be watching this rotation over the next several minutes. For about the next 31 minutes, this tornado warning remains in effect. Good news is we have not had any confirmation on the ground that there is a tornado. But we are in the pre-dawn hours of this Tuesday morning, and it's going to be very tough to see a brief spin-up tornado if it does indeed come into and from the cloud and the storm down to the ground. So what we want to do is get in our safe place if we are in this tornado warning, and we're going to take a little closer look at this and then track things for you as it moves off to the north and east at about 50 miles per hour. So we're going to go put this onto a loop, and we're just going to start tracking where this particular rotation is moving. So as we look from near Black Rock and Broadford and then go off to the northeast at close to 50 miles per hour, that will put this storm system in Upton, Kentucky around 411. So we've been saying that the past several minutes. So this storm system is following suit towards Upton around 411. Sonora, let's be on the lookout a few minutes after that at 415. And then if this holds together, Hodgenville, you are currently not under the tornado warning. It's south of you in the southern LaRue County. But if this rotation and storm holds together like it has recently, Hodgenville, you could be impacted around 424. So if you are in this particular area that I have boxed, that's where you want to seek shelter from this strong storm inside sturdy foundation homes where you can get into the basements and the lowest levels, away from doors and windows, put as many walls between you and the storm. We don't have indication of this tornado on the ground. This does not look like a repeat of some of the stronger storms and tornadoes that we had a year ago, early in the new year back in January, but it just goes to show that even in the middle of winter, we can have storm systems that produce severe weather across the WLKY region, and we have that this morning. If there is any good news in the last couple of scans of the radar, potentially a slight weakening in this rotation, but I want to mention slight. We have seen this storm system cycle quite often as it moves through, and that's pretty typical of thunderstorms that have rotation and severe storms. They can cycle back and forth. So you can get upticks in the rotation and then it fades away a little bit, only to bring back that rotation a bit later on. And as we look at this particular line of thunderstorms here along the Grayson, Hardin, and Hart County lines, it is not overly well organized. We're not talking about big hook echoes on the radar, strong, massive supercell thunderstorms. It's not that type of scenario. But what we do have is just enough wind energy in the atmosphere, just enough humidity that we are now talking about the potential for a couple of storms to hold that rotation and severe weather as we move through the next several hours through southern Kentucky. Again, the main concern will be these brief spin-up tornadoes, brief high wind gusts, and heavy downpours. If you have travel plans along the Western Kentucky Parkway from E-Town down to Litchfield, boy, there's been some very heavy rain, and flash flood warnings are currently in effect. So the last thing you want to do is drive through any water-covered roadways. So we'll continue to keep you advised of the weather threats through the course of the morning. I'm going to take off the loop here. We're going to go back in to where the worst of this storm is and make sure that things aren't getting any worse here. First and foremost, we're going to put on the velocities here. And I'm going to take a little bit of a look. This is the wind inside the storms. And notice we do get some indications where you can have these brief, very high wind gusts, some indications of up to 64 miles per hour. But that's also higher up into the storm. So I don't think we're seeing 64 mile per hour wind gusts out of this storm system just yet. But it is something that we'll continue to monitor across the area, looking at some of the latest reports from the reporting stations down in the southern Kentucky, and the wind gusts really haven't been all that high. So we'll continue to monitor that. Then we look at the rotation within the storm, and this is, for lack of better terms, something that can track the tornado. In fact, we'll take a look. This is the rotation detector, and you see that we do have a fair amount of rotation reported right around the Hardin, Grayson, and Hart County lines across the southern portions of the WLKY area. So we're going to keep close tabs on this as it moves on through. And in fact, I'll give you an idea of just how long it has been rotating as it moved from near Russellville, Kentucky, or northern Russell County, all the way up through Grayson, now northwestern Hart and southern Hardin County into the WLKY region. So as that continues to move off to the north and east, and it hasn't shown many signs of weakening. Again, it's fluctuated in its strength over the past several minutes and last hour or so, but it really has, for the most part, maintained its structure as it pushes off towards the north and east at about 50 miles per hour. And you see we just got the latest radar update, so I'm going to redo the track to account for some of that best rotation now into southern Hardin County and northwestern Hart County as it moves off to the north and east at about 50 miles per hour. So this is going to put locations like Upton and Sonora under the gun over the next couple of minutes here around 410, Hodgenville 421. And if it can hold together, there may have to be a new tornado warning or severe thunderstorm warning extended beyond this time to cover places like Hodgenville, Athertonville, Howardstown, and New Haven through portions of LaRue County and southern Nelson County over the next several minutes. So again, continuing to monitor out there. The National Weather Service also keeping us updated too, talking about the fluctuations of the rotation at the surface with this storm system. So it looks like now they're going to put Grayson and Hart County out of the warning soon. So Grayson and Hart County, you're coming out of the worst of this storm system, but we're going to end up keeping Hardin, and LaRue County and continue into this tornado warning over the next several minutes. And it goes for about 25 minutes more until 4:30 Eastern time, 3:30 Central time through southern Kentucky. And again, it is mainly this particular area of the storm. Let me circle it for you. This particular area of the storm through the far eastern portions of Grayson County, now southern Hardin County, that we'll be watching as this pushes off towards the north and east. Best news with this: no severe or no reports of a tornado on the ground. Back through Edmonson County, there was a report of a tree down, so the potential for some high wind gust as well as the tornado threat with this storm system. As we look out across the WLKY region, though, I want you to notice as you get along and north of the Western Kentucky and Bluegrass Parkways, that includes Shepherdsville, Taylorsville, Shelbyville, the metro up into southern Indiana, we are out of any severe weather threat. It is a rainy start to the morning. Some occasional rumbles of thunder will be possible, and we'll continue to have some wet weather through the morning, and again keep our guard up for later on this evening as the main cold front moves through to renew the possibility of a couple of thunderstorms that could be on the stronger side, push down some higher wind gusts. So it'll continue to be an active Tuesday across our region. But right now, while Louisville and the immediate surrounding metro area through southern Indiana is out of any severe weather threat, we do have a couple of storm cells that we're monitoring farther off to the south. One thing I want to do here is I want to put on the watches and warnings and give you an update on where it is shaded in pink. That is where a tornado watch is in effect through the morning. That includes Hardin, Grayson, LaRue, Marion, Greene, Taylor, and Hart counties. That goes until midday. And this is where the ingredients will be with us, the unusual warmth and humidity that are fueling showers and thunderstorms across the area. And then where you see the boxes flashing in green, that is a flash flood warning. That goes until 5:45, I believe, through portions of Grayson and Hart County. That's Central Time, 5:45, 6:45 Eastern Time. And then we have the tornado warning, which has now been removed from Grayson and Hart County, so some good news there, but is also continuing through southern Hardin and far southern and western portions of LaRue County. This is south and west of you in Hodgenville, but we're going to be paying very close attention to this as it continues to move off to the north and west. It is for this particular little segment of this thunderstorm that's been moving across the WLKY region in our southern communities. It's going to move very shortly towards Nolan, Sonora, and Upton. This is mainly going to stay south of you in Glendale and south of you in Elizabethtown. But again, it bears monitoring because we're going to continue to put the storm velocity on this. It shows the rotation. If you follow us during severe weather, you know where the green and the reds meet, especially where it's locked. That'll show that's where the rotation is right now around Flint Hill and just off to the west of Sonora and Upton. So if you're in the Sonora and Upton regions there of southern Hardin County and southwestern LaRue County, you do want to get into your tornado safe place. The best thing with this is that we have not had a report of a tornado on the ground, but it is dark and early this Tuesday morning, and so it could very well be on the ground, but not be able to be reported. So that's why we have the technology within the radars to show the rotation of this storm system and the potential that we could have at the very least a brief and likely weak spin-up tornado. But nonetheless, this has been a storm that for over the last really 90 minutes or so has shown solid rotation at times in it, and that is indicative of a severe thunderstorm and why we have the warnings posted. We also have that information for both the flood warning and the tornado warning crawling at the top of your screen. And we're going to continue to give you all the updates on the unsettled weather coming up when we start our morning newscast coming up at 4:30. So if you stay tuned in as you get your morning started, we'll have the latest on the rain showers and eventually some of the return to the chillier air that'll be coming into the 7-day forecast. But right now, just keeping eyes on this storm that's moving through southern portions of Kentucky as we look ahead and look out towards portions of Hardin and also LaRue County with this tornado warning that is currently in effect in the area flashing in red. That's where we want to keep the closest watch on. That's where we're keeping tabs on this one particular cell that's been rotating through southern Kentucky, and we're just going to continue to track it. Even though the rotation looks a little bit weaker over the last couple of scans of the radar, and that is always good news, as this continues to move off to the north and east at about 50 miles per hour. Want to give you the latest update, latest track on where this storm cell is going. It'll be near Upton and Sonora over the next couple of minutes. So you're the first communities who want to take a shelter from this storm moving on in. Hodgenville around 4:24, and then beyond the warning time frame. Remember, this will expire at 4:30, but there may be another tornado warning, or at the very least a severe thunderstorm warning posted downstream from LaRue County into portions of Hodgenville and perhaps southern Nelson County to account for places like New Haven and Hodgenville into the stronger storm system.
Get ready for the show.
And we're looking at, let's see, I'm just getting the latest here from the National Weather Service, because we stay in communication with them. They're responsible for putting out the warnings and watches across the area. Have not had any reports of a tornado on the ground, not having any reports of severe weather too. So this is all very good news as we continue to monitor this particular storm system as it moves away from Flint Hill, but moves closer towards Sonora and Upton. And then we'll continue to watch it as it moves in towards the Hodgenville area. So we'll keep close tabs on this. Overall, it has not been causing much in the way of severe weather across the region. But again, a storm system that bears watching as we move through the next about 19 minutes, 18 minutes to be exact now, through your early Tuesday morning. So we'll continue to monitor this. We have also had quite a bit of rainfall with this storm system. It's also brought in a flash flood warning through portions of the Western Kentucky Parkway between Elizabethtown and also Litchfield. And some of the accumulations in radar, in rainfall, I should say, just in the last few hours over the course of the overnight, we can look and see that we've had some pretty significant rainfall amounts, upwards of 4 inches south of Litchfield, also some 4-inch amounts in the southwestern Hardin County, and even just south of Elizabethtown in that orange. Those were 3-inch amounts. So where we've had radar indications of 3 to 4+ inches of rainfall with some of this heavier rain overnight, that is where flashing in green, and that now is including the Bluegrass Parkway up through Bardstown and all the way into Anderson County. That's where we have flash flood warnings. So travel along the parkways is going to be very tough, especially with some of the heavier rain. So keep in mind that's going to affect a wider swath of our southern communities in the WLKY area. And then what we're monitoring closer to that on the radar is what we're dealing with in terms of the tornado warning that is currently in effect through portions of southern Hardin and also southern LaRue County for a storm that in recent scans of the radar has shown, and I'm going to get the warnings off here just so we can focus in on the rotation a little bit, but over the last let's say 15 minutes or so in the radar scan, while we do still have the rotation indicating here just south of Sonora, I want you to notice that instead of it being a tighter loop in this area that we saw a little while ago, it's now looking a little more linear in nature. So it's got more of that backward C. We just got the latest radar update, and you can even see that a little more. It's now taking on that backward C formation, or what we would call a bow echo. And while you can still get little tornado spin-ups on especially the northern edges of that, we are going to be watching for perhaps the potential of some brief high wind gusts, because we do have indicated in the radar, especially a little higher up in that clouds, the potential there for a 59, 60 mile per hour wind gust. So both the threats for severe straight line winds and the potential of a brief spin up tornado is going to be possible. So just looking at the National Weather Service, and they are right now trying to decide whether or not they're going to continue this tornado warning beyond where it currently is. And that would include places like Hodgenville, New Haven. But right now it looks like the overwhelming theme is that the next warning to come out will be a severe thunderstorm warning with the potential of having a brief spin-up tornado, as opposed to keeping the tornado warning that is currently in effect here through southern portions of Hardin County and also LaRue County. I think that is the good call. We've had this cell with rotation for quite a while through southern Kentucky, but we haven't had any reports of funnel clouds or tornadoes on the ground. So overall, this is a severe storm. We've had reports of trees down in portions of Butler and Edmonson County earlier this morning, and also so the potential of strong wind gusts, and again, that brief spin-up tornado, and the potential of severe weather, too, with this. So we'll continue to keep eyes on it as we move through the day. And I also want you to notice, too, in the areas that are flashing in green, that's where the flash flood warnings are for the 2 to 4 inches of rain indicated by radar that have already fallen. And in fact, we have some of the reporting stations in southern portions of Kentucky that have, also shown indications of upwards of 2 inches of rain here. So the heavy rain threat is going to be wider spread across our southern communities along and eventually south of the parkways. But so far this morning, it has been the tornado warning that we're currently watching. It goes for the next 14 minutes. And again, while it's not showing strong signs of currently producing a tornado, we do want to track the worst of this storm for you and just continue to give you a bit of a heads up for where this is going as it moves off to the north and east at about 50 miles per hour. So that is going to put locations like Hodgenville under the worst of this storm in about 8 minutes at 4:24, Athertonville at 4:34, New Haven at 4:35. Then we get towards Culvertown, New Hope, Balltown around 4:40 to 4:43, as well as Greenbrier at 4:45. So that'll start moving this storm system into southern portions of Nelson County. And just got the latest from the National Weather Service, and it will be showing up on our map quite shortly, but we are looking at a new severe thunderstorm warning that is going to take over the tornado warnings. So you just saw that come up now, flashing in orange. I know there's a lot of colors flashing on the screen right now, but we're going to move away from the tornado warning and move into what will be a severe thunderstorm warning. And that severe thunderstorm warning will go a little longer. That's going to go until 4:45 Eastern Time, and that's going to include southwestern Nelson County, south of Bardstown, and then central LaRue County. And so that's going to be the warning that Hodgenville, New Haven, you're going to want to be aware of as this storm moves on through. The primary concern will be winds gusting to 60 miles per hour, even the potential of some hail into this storm as well, especially in that core. Can't rule out maybe getting up to nickels, potentially quarter-sized. So we'll keep close tabs on that as well. But overall, this is definitely a severe storm that's moving, soon to be moving out of Hardin County and into the south and western portions of LaRue County. And so what we're doing this morning is just continuing to keep you updated. And I want you to notice, too, that with the last couple, I should say, scans of the radar, the rotation is taking on a more linear nature and not as curved into a loop or circular that would provide us with tighter rotation or a stronger indication of a tornado. But sometimes when we get into these type of scenarios on the northern edge of that bow echo, we can get a little more enhanced rotation right around where that lightning bolt is showing up off to the east of Nolan, north of Sonora, and off to the immediate west of Hodgenville. So I think if there is going to be a funnel cloud or a lowering out of the sky from this particular cell, it would be in that area right in the middle of the screen that you are watching. And that is where we still do have the tornado warning that's in effect for the next 11 minutes until 4:30 across the area. It is at 4:30 that we'll begin our morning broadcast. We'll have all the latest from the overnights in news, have been some big happenings if you're a football fan during the Bengals and Bills game last night. We're also going to continue to monitor the forecast for you because we've got some bigger, colder changes coming in the 7-day. But as we change out this unusually warm and humid and stormy weather pattern for the colder air, well, that's why we get these downpours and thunderstorms. So we're going to be on guard for a very heavy rainfall, brief high wind gust, and even the potential of a brief spin-up tornado in our southern communities over the next couple of hours, because there is currently a tornado watch in effect for portions of Hardin, LaRue, Marion, Nelson, and also off into Hart County through the course of the morning, as well as Greene and Taylor County. So we'll have eyes on this complex of thunderstorms through the course of the early morning hours. And if you're watching us in Hodgenville, this storm is going to be moving closer to you. You're going to hear more in the way of the rumbles of thunder moving on in, the rain picking up, and perhaps some brief high wind gust over the next really couple of minutes across portions of LaRue County. Really, it's moving from the Hardin and LaRue County line closer to you in Hodgenville. If you are watching us now in Sonora, back over to Upton, the worst of this storm is moving to the north and east of you. Also from earlier, portions of northern Hart County and southeastern Grayson County. This is all, again, moving away from you, so very good news there as the severe weather threat has at least subsided for now. We're going to continue to watch the potential of some stronger cells to develop later on this morning, because what we have through southern Kentucky, where we don't have a lot of rain, is we have more in the way of warmth and also humidity, kind of an untapped atmosphere, if you will, that'll hold the potential for perhaps some stronger cells redeveloping later on in the morning. As we lift most of this rain out, we'll trend drier into the afternoon and then redevelop some thunderstorms as we head later on in the evening with the main cold front that's going to start to push through the area and turn our temperatures closer to more January-like standards by the end of the week. So just continuing, we're going to continue to monitor this for you over the next 8 minutes, and then once this tornado warning expires, which will be at 4:30, right when our morning broadcast begins, we're going to jump right into WLKY Morning News, and we'll go from there. We'll continue to monitor, but we'll do it through the course of the newscast. So let's take a look here at a couple of things, both the straight line wind potential, and that shows that that also indicates some broad rotation within the storm just off to the west of the Hodgenville area. It also shows the potential for some stronger straight line wind gusts. They're 55 miles per hour, a possibility in the straight line winds with this potential, with this particular storm system that's moving on through. We'll also look at the storm relative velocities. That shows some of that rotation also just off towards the west of Hodgenville. So this is the area of the storm system that we're monitoring the closest as it moves off towards the north and east at about 50 miles per hour. So if you're in the Hodgenville area, we're going to watch closely for this, but you are under the severe thunderstorm warning with the potential, since we're moving a rotating thunderstorm into that warning, the potential will be there for a brief spin-up tornado. But the worst of this rotation is starting to nudge out of the tornado warning. And so as we get to 4:30, we will be, unless a new tornado warning is displayed, we are going to end the continuous coverage for this cell, and we'll just continue to track things through our morning broadcast. I want to put on here, though, a look at what's called the shear rate. This is something within our radar system that gives you an idea of where the best twisting and turning in the atmosphere is happening. And a couple of things that we're looking at are important. One, it's in more of a straight line. So that gives us the indication of straight line wind gust as opposed to rotation with this particular storm. But another thing I want you to notice is this storm has been rotating all the way back through southeastern portions of Grayson County and northern Edmonson County. So it has had a level of strength and also organization over the past several minutes, really over the last 90 minutes or so. It started back in northern portions of Russell County into southwestern Kentucky and has now moved into LaRue County, where the worst of this storm is starting to push on in. So if you're watching us in Hodgenville, let's go ahead and move downstairs. Let's get into the basements, the lowest level of your floor, lowest level of your home, and stay away from windows because this is definitely a strong storm. Could have some hail coming in with it too. Some indications of the radar, perhaps up to quarter-inch sized hail. So some pea, maybe dime-sized hail in the worst of this storm as it moves on through portions of LaRue County. But the best news is, as I look through the chat room that we're looking at, the National Weather Service not having anything recently of any damage coming out of any of the tornado warned areas, even though we have flash flood warnings up and down the western Kentucky and bluegrass parkways, not getting any reports right now of water covering the roadways, at least on the major thoroughfares through the parkways. But keep in mind some of those smaller county roads, especially if there's any low water crossings, you're going to want to be very cautious there over the next couple of hours. So just continuing to look at things, but not seeing anything that shows a tornado is imminent now across portions of the area, but definitely some high wind gust potential in and around LaRue County towards Hodgenville. And we'll continue to monitor some of the rotation. And I would say the best chance, if we were to have a tornado that would come out of this particular storm system, it would be immediately north and west of Hodgenville. That's where some of the best rotation is showing up right now on the radar. I say best, it does look weak in nature and mainly just going to see some straight line wind gusts, perhaps on the back edge of that storm system. That particular cell that's going to be coming down closer to Hodgenville and off to the south is where you could likely see a 50 to 60 mile per hour wind gust in short order. So nonetheless, we're looking at severe storms that are moving across the area. It looks like the tornado warning now has expired for Hardin and LaRue County, so that is going to move us solely into a severe thunderstorm warning. And so we'll move out of the tornado warning into a severe thunderstorm warning for this particular cell. And that means that the indication is there for a brief high wind gust, perhaps up to 50, 60 miles per hour, some small hail, and definitely some heavy rain and lightning with this storm system. But the potential for a tornado has, at least for the time, weakened enough that we're going to get you back to regular scheduled programming for a couple of minutes. And what we're going to do here, WLKY, we're going to regroup, and we're going to start the morning broadcast at 4:30. I'll have all the latest on this storm that we'll be tracking throughout the course of the morning and the stormy weather potential that we'll have across the WLKY area this Tuesday before the colder air builds in later in the week. All right, so that is the latest on this storm. Again, the tornado warning for LaRue and Hardin County has been allowed to expire from the National Weather Service, but we do continue a severe thunderstorm warning through portions of LaRue and southern Nelson County for the next couple of minutes. And again, just stick around. We're going to rejoin. We're going to start WLKY Morning News at 4:30 and give you all the latest on your news headlines and weather from overnight.
Stephen's son discusses his new book about the January 6th attack titled Courage Under Fire. Plus, in our CBS Mornings Deals, we'll offer exclusive.
Let's break down who is in that as well for this morning. For those of you underneath the severe thunderstorm warning, it includes Mathers Hill, Hodgenville, up to Tonyville, Leafdale, up to New Haven, Athertonville, Roanoke. You are included in this. Culvertown as well. Nelsonville. You are inside this severe thunderstorm warning. And don't brush it off just because you think it's just a severe thunderstorm warning. No, we can still see incredibly strong wind with this severe thunderstorm warning. 60 mile per hour wind gusts certainly possible. Quarter-size hail also possible. So even in that severe thunderstorm warning, I want you in your safe space. I want you right where you're supposed to be, away from those doors and windows, in that interior room without any windows across your home right now. So that may be a bathroom, that may be a closet. That is the place that you need to be. But good news is that we are going to be watching in just about 15 seconds, or I should say 45 seconds, this tornado warning expiring for those of you in portions of what's right now LaRue County, well as into portions of very southern parts of Hardin County. Still seeing the heavy rain for those of you there as well, so we'll keep an eye on that. I'm keeping an eye a little bit more so on some more of that heavy rain towards Hodgenville, up towards Roanoke and Glendale as well, just because it's right over 65 and some of our major
and frequent lightning and potentially some strong gusty winds, but that tornado warning that was originally for y'all for Henry County has now dropped off. So let me clear out this flash flood warning for you, and it's for the exact same areas that we're watching for the tornado warning. This does include Caldwell, Christian, Hopkins, Muhlenberg, Todd, and Trigg counties. This is actually going to go until 7 a.m. So not only do we have the possibility for tornado zone warning, we continue to have the possibility for flooding as the rain is coming down in buckets. So the first tornado warning I want to take you to again is north of the city of Hopkinsville. Now this is just outside of Crofton. It is now moving along 41 in Christian County. The second one does include the northern tier of Christian County, and that's why we're on the air for you right now as Christian County continues to be impacted. And if I had to guess, this is right here, that center of circulation we're watching, and then this particular one right here that is now crossed over and moving to the north and east. Would not be surprised if they potentially extended it into Muhlenberg County and or canceled it here shortly. But I want to take you back into the second tornado warning that was just issued minutes ago. This is for portions of Christian County. And at this time, again, that circulation keeps changing. These storms are very cyclic, and what you're looking at is the velocity product. The velocity product shows you which way the air is moving in relation to the radar. So green would mean towards the radar, red would mean away from the radar. Now you have the radar on top of these polygons, and you can see, I will outline it for you real quick. This right here is the one polygon that we're focused on. That includes Nortonsville, and it does include the city of Crofton. So this particular storm itself is moving to the northeast at about 70 miles an hour. It is about 10 miles south of Dawson Springs, so I'd say probably now to the south and east of Dawson Springs with that center of circulation. And then we have that second tornado warning that is just, I'd say, south of the city of Crofton. So if you live in Hopkinsville, I'm going to give you the all clear. And again, we're still watching this bounded weak echo region, which looks fairly impressive just south of the city of Crofton. So this continues to move to the north and east. It will clip these northeastern communities. If you live near Fearsville, if you live anywhere along 800, I would go ahead and be in your safe place as this is getting closer to you. You're kind of sandwiched in between two different tornado warnings. The city of Crofton is actually covered in two different tornado warnings. If you live near Flat Rock Cemetery or Gordon Park, I would be in your safe place. If you live along that 169, you're going to go ahead and be in your safe place as well, from Nortonsville south to Crofton. So minutes ago, we were from Crofton to Hopkinsville. We're now from Nortonville to Crofton. You need to be in your safe place. That would include the cities of White Plains and Apex. If you live along 813, you need to be in your safe place at this time. So, and if this all holds together, again, you'll be a little bit closer towards Muhlenberg County when it gets there, but definitely not something to mess around with as these storms are moving so quickly. They will be very cyclic, meaning they run on cycles, and as we head into the rest of the morning, we'll continue to keep you updated. We do have now a new tornado warning that was just issued. Let me see if it'll pull up for you real quick. Okay, so what they've done is they've taken that one that is in Christian County and they've extended it now, including Muhlenberg County. So this is actually going to go until 4 a.m. So we'll be here for at least the next 30 minutes as they continue to cover, excuse me, 3 different tornado warnings. So this tornado warning, it's for Christian, Muhlenberg, and Todd counties until 4. At 3:33, A severe thunderstorm warning capable of producing a tornado was located near Crofton, 13 miles northeast of Hopkinsville, moving northeast at about 65 miles an hour. So these things are moving and grooving, and we now have Paducah has issued a tornado warning for that portion of Christian County. It's a different tornado warning, so now this one is shaped very bizarrely. We'll show you what this one looks like. And again, that bounded weak echo region is what they're probably looking at, if I had to guess. So basically what that means is the air is being lofted so quickly that the air obviously is unstable and is spinning quite rapidly. So let me go ahead and put on, I want to see if the correlation coefficient is picking up on anything. So what I'm looking at right now is if there's any sort of debris. And at this point, it doesn't look like it. It's all radar indicated. And this looks like a mess, I promise, because of all these polygons on. So what I'm going to do, I'm actually going to take the radar off here for a second and show you just the actual polygons itself. We've got 3 different ones, and of course that flood warning is there in place. So we have the first one that's highlighted right now. Includes the cities of Crofton down to the south and to the west. Then we have a second one that I want to show you. This one's for Muhlenberg County, basically. That includes that portion of Christian County moving to the north and east, includes the city of Central City, includes Drakesboro, includes Rosewood, Penrod, and just north of Kirkmansville. Then we have a third one that includes Christian County and Hopkinsville. So right now there is a portion of, excuse me, a portion of Christian County that is covered under 3 different tornado warnings, and that would be the city of Crofton. City of Crofton is covered in 3 different tornado warnings. With that being said, there's really only about 2 you probably need to focus on at this point as it's moving away from you, and these cells are, again, embedded inside of what is very, very heavy rain. You're dealing with blinding rain conditions. And of course, not great. So if you do have to get on the roads here anytime soon, I would go ahead and maybe hold off. That way you can kind of wait these things out. So Paducah has canceled the tornado warning for Christian and Hopkins. So that was the third one that we were watching. We now only have 2. This one is the most important one because it does include Christian and Muhlenberg. This is going to be moving to the northeast at about 55 miles an hour. And I apologize, still dealing with some sort of sickness. So I'll be coughing all morning. I will try to take some breaks and cover my mic for you. But this tornado warning, again, till 4 a.m., includes Christian, Muhlenberg, and Todd counties. It's a radar-indicated tornado warning. Includes the cities of Crofton. It includes Greenville and Central City. And I'm going to take this and kind of put this over into one of our shows and see if we can get talking about some of this stuff, because the velocity product is what's interesting. I'm wondering if they are watching some of these cells obviously spin, and that's the reason for the radar indicated. Haven't gotten any reports of damage, but at this point you can kind of see what we're dealing with. So I'm going to show you, I'm going to help point this out for you real quick up on the wall and show you what we're dealing with. So we have 2 different tornado warnings. They both include the city of Crofton. I think Crofton at this point, it's going to be on your eastern suburbs at this point. We also have this right here. That's where that cell is basically rotating, and it's going to be moving to the north and east towards Central City and Penrod. This is going to go till 4 a.m. It's radar indicated. Notice the circulation. So the velocity product is very interesting. What it does is it picks on, excuse me, excuse me. It picks up on the way the wind is moving. So red would mean away from the radar, green would be moving towards the radar. The radar sits about right here. So this is all, again, moving to the north and east at about 55 miles an hour. It's moving fairly quickly, and of course there's a lot of lightning, and we're also watching a flash flood warning on top of this system. I am so sorry, guys. At 3:38 this morning, we continue with this tornado warning. It does include Christian and Muhlenberg counties moving to the north and east at about 55 miles an hour. It is a severe thunderstorm that is capable of producing tornadoes. It was located near Crofton, just about 14 miles northeast of Hopkinsville. That's that one cell. And then the second one is the one that's moving into the northern suburbs of Christian County and includes Muhlenberg as well. So let's take you into this and show kind of what we're working with. And at this point, The radar itself is not necessarily picking up on anything that stands out to me. So let's go back to that velocity product and kind of show you what they're looking at as far as the National Weather Service, who does put out the warnings. And the velocity is pretty interesting. I mean, it's very broad in my opinion, but again, enough to prompt a tornado warning. So if you live near Fruit Hill Red Bridge, that's the northern tier of Christian County, moving towards Muhlenberg, you're going to be underneath this until 4 a.m. So if you live near Apex, if you live near White Plains, Graham, Nortonsville, all going to be included inside of this tornado warning. That would include Greenville, Powderly, Central City, all underneath this tornado warning until 4. City of Drakesboro, you're also underneath this tornado warning. It's still, the circulation itself is still quite a distance away from you. Nortonville, you're actually now out of the tornado warning, and it just includes Christian County. So if you live near Crofton, if you live near Apex, you need to be in your safe place. If you live near the Allen Cabins and Trails, I would go ahead and get in your safe place as well. Fearsville, you're kind of on that periphery of this, as this is moving just, I'd say, to the north of you. And it continues to move quite quickly at 55 miles an hour. Let's get in some of the street levels. Brinkley Store Road, if you live right along that, or Cold Creek Road, I would go ahead and get into your safe place as you are underneath the tornado warning. So the time now is 3:40, and we've got 2 different tornado warnings along with a flash flood warning for Christian and Muhlenberg counties until 4 o'clock. Storms this morning have been producing tornadoes and dropping tornadoes as far as the radar is indicated. So I want to take and put on the satellite and radar, kind of show you the big picture before we dive in, just where the tornadoes are and where they are. So they are in Christian County, and they are, again, riding along this broken line of storms. And at first glance, it just looks like a bunch of storms moving in and moving to the north and to the east. And that is true, but these 2 tornado warnings are important to mention. This one that's just north of Kirkmansville and really moving to the north and east out of Christian County. That's the one that's going to be crossing into Muhlenberg County here before you know it. So if you live anywhere near Apex, if you live in White Plains, if you live anywhere near the Cave Springs Missionary Baptist Church or the Green Family Cemetery, I would go ahead and get into your safe place, as the tornado warning will be moving into your neck of the woods here probably within the next 5 or so minutes. Quick glance at the actual tornado warning itself. It's going to go till 4 o'clock for Muhlenberg, Christian, and Todd counties. It does clip a portion of Todd County. Kirkmansville, I wouldn't even, you know, at this point, it looks like you're kind of on the periphery. This is the portion of Todd County that's in it. Utley Road, at this point, doesn't look like it's going to be impacting you much. What I am concerned about is this cell that's moving from Christian to Muhlenberg County. If you live along anywhere from the Christian and Muhlenberg County line, you need to be in your safe place. At this time, it looks like it's really approaching, the circulation itself is approaching that Christian and Muhlenberg County line. I want to put this different velocity product on and show you what I'm watching. It's this circulation, again, that Christian Muhlenberg County line. I've been looking at the correlation coefficient, and at this time it doesn't look like there would be any debris being lofted. Still doesn't matter. Still doesn't mean that you won't be underneath this tornado warning. It doesn't mean that you don't need to be in your safe place. Safe place, room without windows, lowest level. Make sure to turn the TV or take your cell phone with you, and, well, don't take the TV with you, but you can turn it all the way up as loud as you possibly can. And of course, if you can hear my voice and you live in Christian County or even Muhlenberg County, you need to be in your safe place. It does look like Paducah has expired the tornado warning for portions of Christian County. We'll wait for this to update. But in the meantime, if you live anywhere from the Christian County Muhlenberg line, you need to be in your safe place, and you need to be covered. That includes protecting your head. Put a helmet on, put a bicycle helmet on, football helmet, whatever you have at your home. Make sure to cover your head, especially when you are under these tornado warnings. And please put shoes on. In case the worst case scenario happens, you will be able to put shoes on when there's tornado debris and debris in general, you don't want to be barefooted and end up stepping on something in case something happens. So again, this tornado warning again for the next 15 minutes. I'll stay with you until they expire it or they extend it or it gets out of our News 2 viewing area. The tornado warning does include now for Muhlenberg. At this point, it is in Christian County. But the circulation itself has now left Christian County and has moved into Muhlenberg County. So if you live anywhere near Greenville, I need you to get into your safe place at this time. You're right on the Cave Springs Missionary Baptist Church. It looks like it would be just to the south and east of you. If you live Really, it looks like the circulation itself is on top of Cave Springs Missionary Baptist Church. A severe thunderstorm warning was just issued for Benton, Carroll, and Henry counties. I'll show you that one in a second. And then we now have a new tornado warning for Muhlenberg in portions of Todd County until 4 o'clock. This does include Central City, moving northeast at about 60 miles an hour. So let's go ahead and reset the stage for you as we have new ones coming in left and right. I want to show you that the tornado watch is now in place for areas along and west of I-65 and does include all of southern Kentucky until 11 o'clock this morning. So this is going to be one of those days where we come in and out of programming. So if you like your shows, just be aware they will be replayed at some point. But of course, your safety is my top priority. The tornado warning has now just been included for all of Muhlenberg County. It says Todd County, but the circulation itself is now well to the north of you. So if you live on 189 towards Greenville, you need to be in your safe place. If you live anywhere along the Christian Muhlenberg County line, you need to be in your safe place. The Green Family Cemetery, Cave Springs Missionary Baptist Church. If you live near J&L Pizza, you need to be in your safe place. Again, this is moving quite quickly towards Friendship Missionary Baptist Church. If you live near Ford Communications, there's a Shell station on 62. You need to be in your safe place. Luke's Town and Country Flea Market, you need to be in your safe place. The Muhlenberg School Bus Garage, you need to be in your safe place, along with Phillies, Malone Home Center, the city of Greenville itself. Downtown Greenville, there is a Walgreens. If you live near Thistle College, if you live near Road Builders, if you live near the Dollar General, if you live at the Flower Shop along Hopkinsville Street, you need to be in your safe place. Hopkinsville Street comes right through downtown Greenville. Again, Doss Roads also needs to be in your safe place. Powderly, you need to be in your safe place. Hopkinsville Street again goes right towards downtown. If you live anywhere along that stretch of 62, you also need to be in your safe place, which is again the same road as Hopkinsville Street. So Main Street meets Hopkinsville Street, downtown Greenville. You need to be in your safe place. Again, this tornado warning goes until 4 o'clock this morning, and it will continue for at least the next 13 minutes or so as the circulation continues to look more and more impressive. So if you live anywhere south of the city of Greenville in Muhlenberg County, you need to be in your safe place. Sunshine Road, State Route 1473, you need to be in your safe place. These are probably a lot of neighborhoods along Sharon DePoy Road, Kennedy Brasher Road, Friendship Road, 8 Mile Lane, you need to be in your safe place. This is all moving towards the city of Greenville, or at least just to the south of Greenville. Even then, you're still underneath this tornado warning as the circulation is quite tight, in my opinion. These storms all morning have been cyclic, and which means they run on cycles. So if you live south of Greenville, I'd say, let's see, south and west of Greenville, you're probably looking anywhere between 5 miles. 5 miles south and west of the city of Greenville, which would put you in some neighborhoods north of Ford Communications, north of Weir Street. This would be along 171 towards Bard Road. The Owensboro Health Muhlenberg, that would be near the Flower Shop. If you live near Gary's Funeral Home along Hopkinsville Street, or even down towards Main Street, I would go ahead and get into your safe place. City of Greenville, you need to be in your safe place in Muhlenberg County. Now, Central City, which is the county seat of Muhlenberg County, it looks like you're just south of the center of circulation. But again, if this thing holds together, it is something that we'll have to watch. Now, look at, that's the tornado warning we've been watching. I want to show you the severe thunderstorm warning that was also just issued for Henry County. And it looks like this one is going to be moving towards Big Sandy. City of Paris, you're out of this now. It's going to be on the east side of you. This is moving towards Springville. If you live along Paris Landing, which crosses over the Tennessee River, you need to be just aware that there's a severe thunderstorm warning in your neck of the woods. Again, this is for that southeastern side of Henry County from Halls 641 up to Paris. That'll take you down into Decatur County, or Benton County, excuse me. That's moving to the north and east about 60 miles an hour. There is a tornado threat possible with this. I want to actually pull up the velocity product itself for this particular storm. And again, there's, very broad wind, basically your primary concern with that. But my main focus this morning, if you're just now waking up at 3:50, we have a tornado warning for Muhlenberg County. This is going to go till 4 a.m. It's about, I'd say, 5 miles just south of the city of Greenville. We'll turn on the radar for you. You are getting pounded with heavy rain in the city of Greenville and Powderly. If you live along Main Street, if you live along the Hopkinsville Road that takes you right into downtown, or Hopkinsville Street near the Dollar General, you should be in your safe place. Along South Cherry Street, South Main Street, Kennedy Brasher Road, get in your safe place along Brad Road, Country Lane Road, Mark Avenue, Weir Street, Tick Lane, Bass Lane. If you live near the Life and Praise Fellowship, I would go ahead and get into your safe place as well, from Victory Baptist Church up to the BP, where the Green River Gas is located. If you live in Lukestown Market, you are just outside of the actual center of circulation. And this, again, is moving very quickly up just south of Greenville. It's now probably, I'd say, just south of Greenville, so along 171. If you live along South Main Street, right at the intersection of Hopkinsville Street and Main Street, there's the Walgreens that sits right there. You need to be in your safe place as the tornado warning is moving just outside of your neck of the woods. If this holds together, Drakesboro, you would be next on the list. 431, very popular highway that takes you from Kentucky into Tennessee and takes you all the way out actually to Alabama. This tornado warning, again, going to go till 4 a.m. They've canceled it for Todd County. They've really fine-tuned it, if you will, for Muhlenberg. This is going to go until 4 a.m., so we'll keep it right here as we our job is to keep you safe. Go to the most interior room of your home if you live in Greenville. Now, this is in Muhlenberg County. You need to be in your safe place. The tornado warning is south. Well, it includes Central City, but the circulation itself is south of Central City. This is moving just on top of the city of Greenville, moving towards Powderly. If you're waking up in Muhlenberg County because your cell phone went off or you're hearing sirens, those are county-based, but the particular warning itself is for the city of Greenville and is moving to the north and east quite quickly at 60 miles an hour. It's about, I'd say, at this point, probably about 10 miles south of the city of Central City, which includes Greenville. So we're looking at about 6 miles south now of the city of Greenville. The actual center of circulation looks like it should be somewhere just outside of the city of Greenville. So let's take you back into that cell itself. Rotation becoming fairly broad. West Main Street, you're getting hammered now with some really heavy rain. This is actually Greenville Elementary School. If you are zoned for Greenville Elementary School, you need to be in your safe place. If you live near Greenville Elementary School, you need to be in your safe place, as that circulation looks like it's coming right on top of you. Now, it does still, the new warning now still includes the city of Greenville, but they've extended it just a little bit to the north and east, and it looks like this is actually going to be going until 4:30. So we will be here for at least the next 30 minutes as there is a Severe thunderstorm capable of producing a tornado, which was located over Greenville and moving northeast at about 35 miles an hour now. So this is all under the Paducah National Weather Service, and they have now moved this tornado warning. They're going to continue it for Muhlenberg County until 4:30 for the next 30 minutes or so. We'll stay here until it drops off. If you're just now waking up with us, good morning. I'm News 2 meteorologist Megan Thomas. It is 3:54. We're not here to scare you. We're here to inform you. From Greenville to Central City, you need to be in your safe place. If you live in Drakesboro, you also need to be in your safe place. Greenville Elementary School, the circulation is directly on top of it. If you live near Chestnut Street, I know a lot of people probably live in homes along McDonald Street, from Hayes Street, from 1380 over to Pritchard Drive, over to East Cross. If you live near the Evergreen Cemetery, you also need to be in your safe place. The circulation is continuing to move to the north and east at about 35 miles an hour. Very broad circulation, but circulation nonetheless. It's not something you play with. And of course, you want to be in your safe place. Great reminder, lowest level, most interior room, and you want to be away from windows. That is the main concern. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to put something together for you real quick and show you, kind of give you the play-by-play of what we're dealing with. All right. So we have a tornado watch that's in place until 11 o'clock for everyone in Middle Tennessee along and west of 65. And then we also have a tornado warning in place now for Muhlenberg counties until 4:30 this morning. That does include the cities of Greenville, Central City, Drakesboro. Rochester, you're right on the line, but once it gets a little bit to the north and east of Muhlenberg, then the other television markets will take that over. But in the short term, until 4:30, we'll be here walking you through what we're dealing with. This center of circulation, again, is from Greenville to Central City along 62. If you live anywhere near the Greenville Elementary School, Yonce Street, Court Row, Maple Drive, East Main Cross Street, near Evergreen Cemetery, Milligan's Taxidermy, you need to be in your safe place in your Paradise Road. Also, Muhlenberg County Airport, you would be impacted by this, as this is a tornado warning that includes the Muhlenberg County Airport from Powderly, that includes Kroger down to Uncle Lee's, right along 189, near Philly's, the Ideal Market, the Dairy Queen, just north of Greenville. You're also underneath this tornado warning. So the center of circulation itself is quite broad, but even then, not something to mess around with. We also have flash flood warnings that continue to pop up, meaning flooding is definitely a concern at this time. This is actually for Gibson, Henry, Weakley, and Carroll counties until, excuse me, until 7 a.m. And we also have a severe thunderstorm warning, which also includes Henry counties, the southeastern side of Henry County. So for the next 30 minutes, we'll be sitting here taking you through what we know. So let me walk you through what we do know. We do have a tornado watch that's in place for areas along and west of I-65, and a tornado watch for everyone in southern Kentucky. Right now, there is a tornado warning. This is the actual tornado warning that we are focusing on. City of Greenville sits right here. Drakesboro, you're right here from Central City. This area continues to spin. We've seen quite a bit of what we call BWERs, bounded weak echo regions, meaning the air is just being thrusted so quickly up that the air, again, will continue to do that. And you'll see that the air begin to spin. And these storms continue to be cyclic, meaning they run on cycles, and they may drop a tornado, or they may at least produce one for at least radar indicated, pick itself up, gets back together. These cells are going to continue to do that for the remainder of the morning. So if you live western Kentucky Parkway, from Central City to Drakesboro along 431 takes y'all to Penrod. If you live in Penrod, if you live in Rosewood, I give you the all clear. You don't need to worry about this. You may be in the tornado warning, but right now it's north of you. If you live in Greenville, if you live in the eastern suburbs of Greenville, you need to be in your safe place. This cell continues to move to the north and east, and it now looks like it's about to cross 431 from Central City down to Drakesboro. Again, that circulation is fairly broad, but the tornado warning goes for at least the next 30 minutes till 4:30, 40 minutes. I don't know what time it is. I think it's 3:58, 4 o'clock, 4:30. Next 30 minutes, this tornado warning will be crossing 431, at least the center of circulation. If you live in the city of Greenville, right along Main Street or Hopkinsville Road or near the Greenville Elementary School, I give you the all clear. The center of circulation now is just to the east of the city of Greensville, moving towards Drakesboro, south of Central City. And we have several other warnings to talk about. A flash flood warning is now in place for Carroll, Gibson, Henry, and Weakley County. Again, that is because this heavy rain that is now to the east side of the city of Paris poured a lot. I mean, they had several severe thunderstorm warnings and actually one tornado warning in Weakley County earlier. If you live anywhere near, I'd say Paris Landing, crossing over the Tennessee River into Henry County from Benton County, you need to be just aware that the torrential downpours are happening, frequent lightning, even moving towards Stewart County. So taking you back into this tornado warning that we'll be covering for at least the next 30 minutes, we are watching a radar-indicated tornado warning. I've been looking at different products myself behind the scenes, kind of assessing what's going on. And it looks like the circulation itself is quite broad. However, where you see that really dark shade of red and purples and blacks, that is where we would suggest that the heaviest of rain is falling. And it typically will correlate with where the air is generally spinning. So yeah, right on top from Central City to Drakesboro, you're going to need to be in your safe place. Lots of lightning. It is lighting up like a Christmas tree. If you live in the city of Greenville or Powderly, I give you the all clear. You can go back to bed until your alarm goes off again, in case there is something. But at this point, again, the circulation is broad. And I want to point out that the velocity product itself is a very interesting product that we as meteorologists use. So the red and the green, I know you're probably, you know, I asked my friend this, what does this mean one day? And she said, how hot and cold the storm is? I said, no, it has nothing to do with that. What the velocity product teaches you is that the red indicates winds going away from the radar, and the green means they're moving towards the radar. The radar is to the north and to the east of this location. So you see when the red and the green meet, you'll get that circulation when that couplet is what we call it, is really tight. It indicates there is a really tight rotation. This to me looks fairly broad. However, not something to mess around with. From Central City to Drakesboro, 431. On the east side of now 431, you're going to be dealing with this tornado warning. That's going to be moving to the north and east. Let me get you some cities here as it moves a little bit for the north and east. And if it continues, it'll be out of our viewing area here within the next probably 20 minutes or so. And then we'll get you back to Good Morning Nashville. Thank you so much, Nikki Bernine, for the tea. She hears me coughing. So here's the deal. From Central City to Drakesboro, this is moving to the north and to the east. Next would be Beaver Dam if this extends. But for me, this looks fairly broad. There are no reports so far of any damage reports as I'm keeping up with the National Weather Service. However, the National Weather Service in Nashville does mention that there is a very strong thunderstorm that will impact portions of western Montgomery, Stewart, Houston, and north central Humphreys County through 445. And we were watching that one. Obviously, that is one that we were keeping our eyes on as well as this system continues to move. The big picture, pretty impressive. We're going to continue to see these storms fire up along this line, and we're going to be under a tornado watch until 11 o'clock this morning. They may extend it to the eastern portion of the state later this afternoon. But this broken line of storms continues to produce tornado warnings. And in fact, we just got a new one. They're going to continue the tornado warning for Muhlenberg County till 4:30. It's a severe thunderstorm warning capable of producing a tornado between Central City and Drakesboro, moving northeast at about 40 miles an hour. So it's that same one. They've just kind of confined it to this location. So again, Central City to Drakesboro, that's 431. 431 actually takes you all the way into Alabama if you were curious. But let me get you some cities. Let me show you what I'm working with from Central City down to Drakesboro. That would include the city of Cleeton. If you live in Cleeton, you need to be in your safe place. Cleeton sits really right between Central City and Drakesboro. If you live, I'd say 431, that stretch of Cleeton, down zero, the shooting club, which is just to the south and east of Cleeton. That center of circulation is actually just to the north and east of you. And if you live in P&M Hall Road, State Route 2107, something to look out for. The city of Cleeton, truly. There's a Postal Service, Miller Cemetery, the gun towing and recovery, Muhlenberg County trash collection, all sits along that stretch of 431 from Drakesboro to Central City. The city of Cleeton is basically under the gun right now for where this tornado warning is located. It's going to be moving to the north and east. It says at about 40 miles an hour. So again, it's moving very quickly. I'll put on a track for you here and show you what we're working with. Let's see. About 40 miles an hour. It's moving quick. So Wysox, Simmons, McHenry, Beaver Dam at 4:30. The circulation itself fairly broad, but again, the National Weather Service is going to continue this for at least the next 25 minutes. I'll take you into the new severe thunderstorm warning that we just now had issued for Stewart County. This includes the northern tier of Houston, Clips, Erin, city of Dover. I'd say just on the east side of Paris Landing near Big Sandy, you're getting pummeled with rain. Lots of marinas along that stretch of the highway. Just make sure that you know that the heavy rain could cause blinding conditions, the frequent lightning, the gusty winds, something to look out for. Winds are moving at about 60 miles an hour. And at this point, that severe thunderstorm warning is going to go until 4:45. The tornado warning, though, is the one that we are concerned about up into portions of Muhlenberg County. And just like that, the severe thunderstorm warning has been moved into Ohio County. This is now out of our viewing area. The rotation itself has gone down. They felt the need to expire the tornado warning at this point between Central City and Drakesboro. I'm going to keep it here for just a couple more seconds to see if they drop it really, or if they're just extending it. So it looks like they're going to keep it extended as a severe thunderstorm warning. But until they actually drop the tornado warning, or at least it moves out of Muhlenberg County, I will stay here with you. So let's keep it up and keep going. So the National Weather Service has issued a severe thunderstorm warning for sections of the Stewart and Montgomery County, Houston County, like we were just talking about in Middle Tennessee. But the tornado warning right now is for Muhlenberg County in Kentucky, and that is again moving towards Ohio County, moving towards the city of Rockport. Once this circulation moves out of Muhlenberg County, we'll take you back to Good Morning Nashville and kind of give me a second to set the stage, and we'll talk much more about what we can expect for the rest of the afternoon or until something else drops this morning, because it does look like it's going to be a pretty active morning. We've been at it since about 1 a.m. That's when the first tornado warning was dropped, and they'll continue to do that as the tornado watch is still in place for the remainder of the afternoon. So let's turn on the radar. I'll show you. Excuse me. I'll turn on the radar and show you kind of what we're working with. So again, that tornado warning that was for Central City down to Drakesboro along that stretch of 431 has now moved into Ohio County. This is out of the News 2 viewing area. This is now a severe thunderstorm warning as the rotation has become much more broad. But before we wrap this up and tie it up with a bow and get started with Good Morning Nashville, we are going to be under a tornado watch along and west of I-65 until 11 o'clock in Tennessee. And then in southern Kentucky, it's until 11 o'clock all morning. Again, this is going to be one of those days where you have to sit and you have to wait and you have to watch as these storms will become just on this broken line of storms that continue to move in. So we've got a couple different things we're working with. A tornado warning is now moved into Ohio County in Kentucky. It's now moved into a severe thunderstorm warning. We also want to keep our eyes on this broken line of storms coming into Stewart County that comes into northern Benton. There's a severe thunderstorm warning for the city of Big Sandy up to Dover. That stretch of Dover that takes you into Paris, right crosses over right in Paris Landing. You're going to be dealing with some very heavy rain, frequent lightning, and strong gusty winds. But before we wrap this up, I want to make sure that this circulation again is going to be leaving us and moving towards the north and east up into Ohio County in Kentucky. For now, it looks like things are okay. So if someone could get in my ear and tell me what you want me to do and where you want me to go, I will be happy to do so. So Reminder, the tornado watch is going to go until 11 o'clock this morning, as we still have, again, the possibility of tornadoes all morning long. The circulation itself for this tornado warning is going to technically go till 4:30, but the circulation has now moved into Ohio County, Kentucky, which means it is no longer in our viewing area, and we should be able to take over to programming. So, again, if anybody can tell me. All right, Neil.
Yeah, no,
Neil?
you to give your voice a rest for a second,
thank
and if any more turn into tornado warnings,
We know you'll jump in.
We'll use your voice again.
Yeah.
It's 9 minutes past 4 o'clock, and we're just going to kind of jump in here and get going on Good Morning Nashville. And, of course, severe weather is going to be top of mind for everyone during this daytime today, I guess.
We'll be jumping in with Megan as soon as anything pops up, and we'll take her and go back into wall-to-wall coverage and keep you updated. And we're also keeping our eye on that Bills player.
That was scary.
Horrific, and we are just keeping him in our